What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason, we're the Table Monkeys, and we are here with a video to talk about my upcoming match with MAC, which is Major Arm Wrestling Championship, on May 25th. This is a new league being started by Ian Carnegie using the MAC table, which is a different table. It's got rounded edges, it's really comfortable to pull on. It has depressed pads instead of elevated pads, and they're 8 by 10 inches, so you have a little more room to pull around and like to play and get your techniques out and everything. It's really like awesome for all that. And then also
we had a giant practice using those tables a few months ago, so we'll put a link up on the top. We talked about our opinion on the tables, and overall I think we really like them.
Yeah, we do really like them, and yeah, the main thing is more movement and less fouls. That's the main objective of the table. So really looking forward to this is going to be the second time that I pulled on this table for a match. My first match was against Nathan Lalonde a few months ago, which we will talk about a little bit later because that has some more relevance later in this video. But my upcoming match is against Shawn Crowther, who is Matt Mass. It's one of his main training partners out in Red Deer. He pulled at our East vs. West qualifier, had some battles with Rick the Brick Heidebrecht. Him and I have one match, which if we can find a video, we will put right here. If we did find the video and you didn't get to watch it, you will see that I'm an idiot and I lost because I got a little too cocky. I started playing with my foot a little too much, and he's got an elbow of steel. So he dove on that elbow and I couldn't hold it, and he pressed me to the pad and I looked like a dumbass. So I am not going to let that happen this time. I intend to control the center table and dominate this motherfucker from go, which we're going to talk about how we kind of structure our peaking program and how I plan to do that, right?
Right. So we made a video on the past, I think it was titled Table Monkeys Strength Training Program, where we give an outline of a weekly split that you can use to get better at arm wrestling and also strengthen your body in the gym. And in that program, we talk about a peaking system that you can use basically 4 weeks out from an upcoming competition.
Yeah.
And you still use that, we still use that for our peaks leading up to the competition. It's very simple. Basically 4 weeks out is going to be your hardest table time, either practice or what you did,
mock
tournament,
competition, yeah.
Right? So anything that it's going to mimic, obviously, what you're doing. The tournament's obviously the best.
As specific and as intense as possible.
Exactly. So that's 4 weeks out, and then from that 4 week point, it just tapers down and down until probably 2 weeks out you're doing no arm wrestling at all, so you can fully allow your body to rest.
Yeah.
And then just as your arm wrestling training is going down, or like table time is going down, your gym lifts are going up. So the intensity of your exercises in the gym is going up, again, to a peak, probably 2 weeks to 10 days out.
Yep.
And specificity of those lifts is going up and up and up as well. So they're mimicking what you do on the table. So it's very specific, isolated movements. You can talk about that in a second.
Yep.
And so 10 days out, 2 weeks out, that's your hardest, heaviest, most specific lift. And then after that, it's rest and recovery, some light blood flow, some visualization, and then
That's it. Get to work.
Yeah.
And the last thing with that taper on the lifts is that your volume for the actual lifting is going down. Even though the intensity is going up, I'm not going to be lifting as many reps, as many sets. I'm going to be focusing, like Alex said, on that highest intensity, highest specificity of the lifts that I'm doing about 2 weeks to 10 days out. So with that being said, and since I am following that program, and since we are just under 4 weeks out, means that I just had my hardest table time, which I did a mock competition. I went to Picton Farm Wrestling Tournament, which was an awesome tournament. It is on, I'm not sure whose farm it is, but it's a cool farm. He's got like honeybees.
Chris Armstrong.
Chris Armstrong?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool, like honeybees, he had maple syrup. It's in a huge barn, and it's just a cool like event to be at, especially if you're from Ontario. Devin was there, which was awesome because it's his first time seeing him since his match with Levon, which we'll make another video talking about that maybe at some point, just kind of his reflections or whatever if we do. But it was awesome to get to see him, talk to him. But then, of course, as he usually does, he threw his left arm, the party arm, in the mix, which if you did see his recent video, apparently it's not the party arm anymore. Maybe like you know,
maybe the competing arms.
Yeah. Like spoiler alert, because we're not really going to talk about the whole thing, but he did end up. He didn't lose a match, but he gave the first place tournament, like the win, to Curtis in the very end. So, so going into the tournament left-handed, Curtis, myself, and Nathan Lalonde, who I mentioned earlier, who I had my first MAC match with, all three of us were there, plus Devin now signed in to the left arm super heavies, and the three of us kind of started, you know, conversing and coming up with a plan. How could we possibly take Devin down? What could be the right strategy? So I laid down to Curtis the first time that we matched up so that Curtis could get the first shot at Devin as fresh as possible, because we felt like that was our best, the first thing that we needed to do to have our best chances. So I went B-side. Basically everybody that I went against, other than laying down to Curtis, was just smash, smash, smash on the B-side. Then Nate got his chance against Devin. You know, he stopped him dead center in the table, which was impressive as shit. And then Devin, being the master of mind games, looks at him and goes, "Oh, you are strong." And Nate, being the fucking fanboy, goes, "Oh, thanks." And as soon as he goes, "Oh, thanks," Devin goes, "Smash, baby!" And just fucking basically pile drives him into the fucking pad. And then tells him, "Don't fall asleep." So that was pretty funny and awesome. And then Nate comes off the table, and now it's Nate and I are basically the next match. And if we were really playing it smart and strategically, Curtis is about to have his shot. Nate just had his shot. Nate should lay down to me so that I have my shot. But I beat Nate on the MAC table before, and I know he wants that match back. And he just lost to Devin, being a bit of a goof. So I didn't really want to ask him, "Okay, now lay down to me and your tournament's done." It's also his home tournament. So having somewhat of a heart, I was like, "All right, let's fight it out." I was also pretty confident because of how I controlled him at the MAC match that we had, that I was, you know, going to be able to do the same thing here, and there wouldn't be an issue. If you've watched us before and you've listened to our theories on how to get better, one thing you've probably heard us say is the idea that you have to lose to learn, the idea that you build off of your like failures or your shortcomings, and that's how you learn to get better. If I had gone to this tournament and smashed everybody and then just got flashed by Devin or something, I wouldn't have had anything to really walk away from. So getting into this match with Nate, which we're going to show you in a minute, I made a lot of little mistakes. Nate has definitely improved his strength, and he took away a lane that I thought would just be there. So I'm not taking anything away from him, but this being like a learning experience for myself, trying to figure out what I did wrong, I definitely feel like there were some mistakes that I made in my match with Nate. So we'll show you the match now, and then we'll analyze it when we get back.
Fight this guy! Fight this guy! Come on, Nate! Come on, Nate! Yeah, you got it, Nate. Come on, Nate. What you do, buddy? Wake up, Nate! Wake up! Let's go! Go, Nate! Fast! Go, Jason!
Fire him up. Give him some energy. Let him absorb it. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. You gotta fight right in the middle of that table. Who's it gonna be? Who's in the driver's seat? Get behind your guy. Go, Jason! That's a fight. 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 Get behind your guy.
Now you're calling them? What the fuck?
That's the call.
Doesn't call it all day. He's coming in. He's coming in, Nate.
Here we go. Getting close now. Let's hear you. Get behind your guy. Fire them up.
Do it! Come on, Nate.
I want to get straight first. Take this up.
You got it, Nate. Jump your fuck. Let's go.
House center. Good. A little bit of wrist.
We're getting close now, boys.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yes, Jason! Yes, Jason! You got Jason!
Okay, so looking at the match, first let's go over the good things. I think you won the start with each start, right? Because there were two rounds in that fight.
Yeah.
You had with him. You won that like King's move, kind of open top roll position. I think you had the advantage in the hand.
Yep.
And in the second start, I think you won the center table with the hook. But where you went wrong was being a bit too impatient in those positions, because you had control, but then you went to try to maybe go for the pin or improve your position, but ended up losing more than you wanted, and he just slowly worked himself into a good position without worrying about any big surges, and was able to get his shoulder in, and once he gets his shoulder in, like, it's strong. So there was nothing really you could do.
Yeah, so in the first time that we pulled, I was really in control of this top lane, and I let him get into his press a little bit to feel it, and it was stupid strong when we first pulled, so I had to just make sure to own that top lane. So I figured I was going to have it in this match. That's where he definitely trained, because like you said, I did win the King's move open top roll position a little bit, but he stopped it dead at table. It was way better. Like every other time, I've been able to just buckle his hand and then it's nothing, right? But this time he stopped it. He was definitely A, training it, and B, I'm sure he wanted this win, and like I was a target for him, which is great. And then I think that I was impatient. Like there's a real fine line between patience and being hesitant, and I think I fucked that line up a lot in this match, where I was being too patient, that it ended up being like hesitation, and then also being too impatient, like not waiting enough, where I was being impatient, whatever. And you get the point. So with that move, we were stopped King's move, and I felt a chance to kind of get at his thumb and try to pin him. He held it off. If you watch the video, there might have been an elbow foul, but whatever, it's fine.
It's farm wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. It's farm wrestling. No hate. But either way, it's not a big one. And then he, like Alex said, gets his shoulder in there. Once he gets his shoulder in, I fully pull my elbow off to be like, let's try that again, because I know that that's not going to end well. So I get the restart, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to set a hook. So good takeaway. I was able to, this is what I want to do on the go, and I was pretty much able to do it. Same thing, I wanted to win the high game, I did, I just didn't win it as much as I wanted in the first round. Second round, I get the hook, I get positioned to my side of the table where I feel comfortable, and then probably now I think maybe my angst in this moment was the idea that I know I want to pull Devin next, because whoever wins between Nate and I are going to get to pull Devin with how the tournament has unfolded at this point. So I'm like, okay, fuck that. I want to win, so I go for the pin, and then I really have a moment of hesitation where when I don't get the pin, I kind of look at his arm, and I remember in the moment just kind of being like, what the fuck? Like, that wasn't supposed to happen. This is supposed to like go down now. And that's where the next learning for me is movement. I definitely, if I was more focused in the match and just focused on like thinking this guy is going to kill me and I got to kill him, when I didn't get that pin, I should have maneuvered my body around my hand as I stood back up, as opposed to just kind of sitting there with it and letting him move his body around his hand. So much of arm wrestling is not how you move your hand, but how you move around your hand, or how your opponent moves around his hand, and what you can do to cut that off or mitigate that. And that's what I really fucked up in that moment. Then when he got in on his press, I had it, like, I felt strong, and I said, like, again, when we first pulled, when he got his press on me, it was like, oh shit, no way. And then on Saturday, I felt like, oh, okay, fuck yeah, I'm gonna hold this, and I started to push my shoulder towards him, and then again, being maybe a little too patient or hesitating a bit, he just pushes in quicker than me, and gets more behind it, and now I'm on my bicep, he's got his shoulder on it, and there's nothing I'm gonna do with that. He's a big motherfucker, and strong. So the big takeaways, like you said, hesitation and patience, like making sure to execute that part properly, really being focused in on the match. So one of the other takeaways for me, just from that day, like analyzing the whole day, I didn't have any music on. I wasn't like super pumped up. I was just kind of waiting around. I didn't have any good food all day. Like, I was really lax with the food. It ended up being a lot later than I expected. So all those things kind of factor in where you don't feel that bad, but when it comes time to perform, like, the edge just isn't there. And that was definitely something that I already know, but was really like a slap in the face of like, oh yeah, duh, So that was a big takeaway for me, which I won't let happen against Shawn. But like we said, this is 4 weeks out, so this is my last hard table time. I'll do some, like I won't do any real intensity this next table practice. I'll just kind of hold newer guys and get a little bit of blood flow. And then the following table practice, almost nothing. The table practice right before the match, absolutely nothing. And then like Alex said, the lifts will go up. So just to quickly go over the lifts that I've been doing to prepare for Shawn. I've been doing riser just in between, like really standard in between the two knuckles like this. I've been doing pronation over the thumb like Devin, like this, but not all like kicked out and kicked back. Just trying to keep it more fundamental. And then Devin's riser, like the one that's over the knuckle, like off to the side this way, not straight over, but off to the side. And that one I do kind of like I'm punching, right? So if I'm mimicking on the table, the first one is just straight back pressure. The second one is pronation or back pressure through pronation. And then the third one is like straight up pushing, like up through the hand. And then the last one is going to be supination, but with a bit of a 45-degree angle. So I'm not pulling it straight back. I'm trying to push my shoulder in and push across, but I'm also making sure that like I need to apply back pressure to it as well, right? So it's always on 45. So I work all 4 of those lifts one after another, like in a circuit, work up to heavy singles. I do that every day that I'm doing my main like lifting, and then I do a main movement after these. So it'll be a bicep day. So it'll be like this, then biceps, this, then chest, this, then back. And then after that, I focus on all my wrist curling. So that'll be high multi, low multi, and a lot of wrist curls either on my knee or on a bench somewhere where my arm is supported and I'm just bending at the wrist. And those ones I'll do heavy. The multi-spinner I do relatively like higher volume for the most part, and then I do triceps and shoulders around the pulling, like our practice days. So the day after and the day before practice is all like triceps and shoulders.
And your gym lifts, especially those specific arm wrestling ones, will come to a peak where you're doing your max angle, but the most you could possibly do on that day, probably 10 days out, 2 weeks out.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I will, like this week, I'll keep them, because I just had my hardest table, I'll keep them around the same number that I've been like close to where I have been like progressing over the last few weeks. And then I will reduce the amount of warm-up, like Alex said, go get to those singles and then try to hit a better number next week and a better number the week after. The final week, I might even split them up where like Monday I'll do maybe like this one and the supination, and then the next day I'll do pronation and like rise over the knuckle, just so that I can so I can minimize the volume as much as possible or start to spread out the volume. I'll do way less wrist curling volume as I get closer and sort of increase the weight. So I might go to just straight isometrics where I'm like taking a multi-spinner and just trying to hold for a few seconds a heavier and heavier weight, or on the wrist curl like something where I'm even on the bench, whatever, where I'm just trying to maintain a wrist flexion for a few seconds and not doing any reps, so that the volume's coming down but the intensity's going up.
Yeah.
And the actual gym lifts like curls, bench, and back, those all just basically taper off. So those I consider more like volume work. I'm not really ever doing those for super high intensity. So those just kind of like if I'm feeling beat up or whatever, like I'm just gonna skip those. Those get kind of just tossed away and become less and less as we get closer.
Right, and that's 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
From Shawn Crowther, May 25th in Rochester. How can people watch the match?
Yeah, so it's going to be on pay-per-view. I am not the only match that's happening that day. There are a ton of great matches. Brandon Ellicesser and Hitman Alan Ford. I know Rick Heidebrecht's pulling Josh Bellin, which is like 2 Canadian monsters going at it. There's a bunch of other matches. Milo Laird has a match. John Tarian has a match. Like, there's going to be tons of great matches. But if you click the link in the below, did I say that right? If you click the link below, you will get brought to the one with my promo code, so I get paid and you get a discount, and that's the way to do it. So please click the link, get the pay-per-view, watch all the matches. It's going to be epic. May 25th. It's going to be in Rochester, New York. If you're around that area, fucking come by, check it out. MAC, Major Armwrestling Championship, May 25th.
Like, comment, subscribe.
All those things.
And monkeys out.
Peace.